Welcome everyone to the Instructors channel. Here we are again for our weekly video.
This video is on 6 things that you can do to take your e-learning course from good to great. Are your e-learning courses great or just good enough? So set yourself apart by being a high-quality course producer by following these tips. Number 1. Your course is goal-oriented. Have you ever watched a movie that you go to the end and you say, I must have wasted 2 hours of my life? Well, designing an e-learning course without a goal, it has more or less the same feeling. If you don't have a goal in the beginning, it's unlikely you will have accomplished anything by the end. And for your purposes as an instructional designer, having a goal at the start, it helps you to shape the way you provide instruction. To pick the right goal, identify what the biggest priority is for your course. What are your learners here for? How can you get them the skill or knowledge they are seeking? What are the objectives? And am I making them clear to my audience? Knowing this will help you concentrate your efforts for a better result. Tip number 2. Engaging without being distracting. In many cases, companies make the mistake of simply transferring existing training online. Truly great e-learning courses consider how people learn, and they don't just spit out information hoping that it will stick, right? So how do you engage without distracting? Well, there are a variety of elements you can use to engage learners. That includes pictures, videos, color schemes, and well, all other pretty things, let's say, that we designers love so much. However, a great e-learning designer knows how to use these elements to enhance information, not to overwhelm. Use visuals that support your goals. So when you're not sure if graphic helps or hinders your goal, it's usually best to leave it out. Ask yourself, really, are you trying to add something that will help to retain that information or meeting the goal? If the answer is no, then let it go. Function over style. Other distracting elements can be factual errors like bad style choices or misspellings or any other errors. Know your learners. Before ever deciding on how many graphics you should lay out, take the time to know your audience. It is extremely difficult to engage someone who you don't know, right? It would be like trying to get someone's attention in a crowded store. Step 3. Contains relevant and targeted content. Your learners are your customers, and if you don't show them something they want, then they're not going to feel motivated to take your course. Targeted content is unique because it's designed to elicit a specific response from a specific group based on the data about that group. Creating relevant and targeted e-learning content involves the following: shaping your message in a way that's most likely to resonate with your target audience, choosing the appropriate informational material, figuring out the most effective instructional strategy, taking into account the context of your audience. Are they never at their desks? Well, then don't create a desktop-based course. Reviewing the learning objectives throughout the design phase. This ensures that your content is always relevant. Both formal and informal surveys let us know what our learners and managers are looking for and what's important to them. Also, if it seems that there are 2 or more distinct groups within your audience, then it makes sense to create several versions of your content. Tip number 4. Communicate logically. Just as with graphics, it doesn't matter how fancy your navigation looks or how interesting your writing sounds. If it isn't easy, your learners will not follow. Content and navigation need to flow in a logical pattern so that the audiences can spend time returning the message, not trying to figure out which button they have to hit on, let's say. The wording also should be appropriate for the audience. I mean, not too simplified and not too complicated for the purpose of the course. I mean, anything that goes over an audience's heads will cause frustration. And if it is dumbed down info, then it's going to feel like a waste of time for them. Tip number 5, inspires people to act. Great e-learning courses don't stop at being just interesting. They take that engagement and it's used to push audiences, customers, and company leaders to take action. So your words need to connect with the audience on an intellectual level and work in a way that is persuasive, inspiring, and actionable. You want your learners to be able to do something, not only during the course, but also after they have completed it. So for that reason, you want to bring that course into your real life, into their real life, so that they can set their own goals, they can plan, and they can think about the information they just gained. And they can incorporate even things in their calendars, maybe a performance marker, or another goal-setting element that they could add. Some ideas here that may help, for instance, incorporate practical exercises that are similar to what the learners will be expected to perform at a workplace. Also, illustrate the immediate rewards to obtain the highest engagement. If learners see that there is a real benefit or immediate reward upfront, they'll probably engage a lot more with your course and completed it. Tip number 6, have a solid instructional design strategy. So this means that you embrace all that theoretical knowledge, all those models that you have learned throughout your career, and you're applying the methods that are most effective. Because truly speaking, doing things the right way leads to better learning outcomes, which honestly, again, is what we need to provide when we invest time and money in a training program. Truly, there are a variety of approaches for making your e-learning course more engaging, like storytelling, discovery learning, situational learning, and several others. So when deciding on a strategy, think of the following: the type of content. How can I best teach a fact versus a concept? A procedures versus an interpersonal skill? The other thing you need to think of is the impact. What is the best way to make this training meaningful and relevant? Another thing to consider is the objectives. How can I ensure each trainee will master the objective? And finally, the activities. So, have you selected the best activities to achieve those goals, those desired outcomes? So, to go from a standard e-learning course to a great one, keep these 6 main points in mind. And let me know what you thought about this video in the comments. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful week ahead. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You don't want to miss any other topic.